In this tutorial, we'll be starting from collections part 2. I hope so that before attending this tutorial, you have attended the collection part 1 tutorial where we have covered the introduction to collection. So after covering introduction to collection, we have studied about generics. The reason I have kept this situation is for a reason that after introduction of collection, you need to understand generics just before going into the deep detail of collections. So far, we have covered the introduction to collections and we have thoroughly learned what are generics. And from this tutorial, we start learning the collections in a deep dive. So let's take a deep dive to collection API. So the first topic that we are covering is Java Collection API. In order to understand the use of Java Collection API effectively, it is useful to have an overview of the interface it contains. So that what I will provide here. Here are two groups of interfaces. One is collection and other is maps. So let's see a graphical overview of collection interface hierarchy. So this is a graphical overview. You can see firstly we are having a iterable interface. The important method in iterable interface is iterator. Then we are having a collection interface. Collection interface is having many methods. Just one over here is shown, that is size. And then we have multiple sub-hierarchy which are list, set and queue. Okay, so all these actually extends collection interface. When we talk about set interface, we are having a sorted set interface which again extends set interface, and there is also a navigable set which also extends sorted set interface. On the queue side, we are having a DQ that actually extends queue interface. So this is about collection API interfaces. Now let's see the map interfaces. So this is a graphical overview of map interface hierarchy. You can see we are having a map interface. Then we have a sorted map interface that extends map interface and followed by a navigable map interface which extends sorted map. Okay. So I think so far is something that we have already seen in our introduction to collections. But here we see each one of these in detail. So let's see first of all the iterable interface. The iterable interface is one of a root interface of Java collection classes. The collection interface extends iterable, so all subtypes of collection also implement the iterable interface. A class that implements an iterable interface can be used with the new for loop. Here is such an example. You can see in the example we are having list equals to new array list. And then we are having object O from which we are taking list. So in from the list we are using a for each loop to actually fetch each object from this list one by one and do something on it. Fine. So this is a one way of doing that. The other way of doing that is using an iterable interface. So what is an iterable interface? Well, an iterable interface has only one method, which is iterator. So public interface iterable. I hope so. Now you are getting what this T means since we have studied the generic. So this means the type which we can assign whenever we create the object of iterable. Fine. So then we are having a method iterator which returns a object of iterator. Okay. Now let's go to Java Collections API. Let's see what all subtypes are present in collection subtypes. So we have seen the following interfaces extends the collection interface. They are list, set, sorted set, navigable set, queue and DQ. Fine. So this is just an introduction, and yes, we'll be covering each of them in a real detail by also doing some of the live examples in our Eclipse IDE. Now, Java does not come with a usable implementation of collection interface. So you will have to use one of the listed subtypes. The collection interface just defines the set of methods that each of these collection subtypes share. This makes it possible to ignore what subtype of collection you are using and just treat it as a collection. This is a standard inheritance, so there is nothing magical about it, but it can still be a nice feature from time to time. In the later section of this text, we describe the most used common operations of collection framework. Now we see how can we add and remove elements from collection. So right now we are not typically talking about a particular collection type, whether rather we are more of concentrating on the generic methods which are available in the collection interface and which can be implemented by any of the collections. So we are talking about the general methods. So to add and remove, regardless of what collection subtype you are using, there are few standard methods to add and remove elements from collection. Adding and removing single element is done like this. String an element and you pass an element as a string. Then you have collection. Collection equals to new hash set. And then we have boolean. And the name of the boolean we have given is did collection change. And then we are having add method which we are calling on collection. So you see how we have added an element. Firstly, we have declared a string. Then we have declared a collection. Let's say we have declared just any collection over here. We are taking example of a hash set. Fine. Then in collection, over collection, we are calling an add method and passing the string over here. Fine. So did collection change will be true over here. And then we have boolean was element removed will return us true if it is removed. So similar to add, we are also having a remove method which will return us true if it's actually removed from the collection. So that was about adding and removing elements from any of our collection subtype. Okay, now let's see what add method actually does. Add adds a given element to a collection and return true if the collection changed as a result of calling add method. A set, for instance, may not have changed. Why so? Because a set cannot contain a duplicate element. So if you try to enter a duplicate element, it will not store that. If a set already contained that element, it is not added again. On the other hand, if you called add on a list and the list already contained that element, the element would then exist twice in the list. Okay, because on list there is no restriction for duplicate elements. Fine, this is how add method works. Now let's see how remove method works. Well, remove removes the given element and return true if removed element was present in the collection and was removed. If the element was not present, the remove method return false. Okay. So I hope so you got what I am trying to say, that remove actually simply remove the element and return true if it is removed. Okay, if the element is not present that we are going to remove, then it will definitely return false. So we have studied how to add and remove elements. Now let's continue with that and see some more examples. So you can add and remove collections of object. Here are few examples. So you see, first of all, we have declared a set. So it's not showing the complete declaration. It just mentioned dot to show that you can actually mention any of the sets. It could be a hash set or any other set also. Okay. After that, we are having a list. Similarly, the list can be any of a list. Fine. After that, we are having collection. Collection equals to new hash set. Fine. And afterwards, we are doing add all. So when we do collection dot add all and we pass a set into it, it actually returns boolean 2 but ignored over here. So you can see we are not actually printing the value of that boolean, but definitely add all also returns boolean. So to add a complete collection, we can use add all method. So add all will take the complete set in one go and add it. Similarly, we can also add the complete list using the same add all method. It is again will return boolean, but since we are not printing over here, so that's why we are ignoring the return value. Similar to add all, we are also having a remove all method. So remove all actually remove the complete list from the collection. So if the collection contains this complete list that we are passing, it will remove and it will return true if it's removed. If it is not present or not removed, it will return false. Fine. Similarly, we are also having one more method which is retain all. Then we are having a retain all method. It is also taking a complete set that is a complete collection and we can call it on a collection object. And what it does, we see that shortly. Okay, so let's read about add all. Well, add all adds all the element found in collection passed as a parameter to the method. The collection object itself is not added, only its elements are added. Okay, so when we say the collection object whole is not added, rather the elements are added. If you had called add with the collection as a parameter instead, the collection object itself would have been added, not its element. Okay, so if you have called add with the collection as a parameter instead, then the collection itself would be have added. But add all actually adds the element from that collection that you are passing. Exactly how the add all method behaves depend upon the collection subtype. Some collection subtypes allow the same element to be added more than once and others don't. Like said don't allow. Fine. Now let's see what remove all does. Remove all removes all element found in the collection passed as a parameter to the method. If the collection parameter contains an element not found the target collection, these are just ignored. Okay. So same purpose as remove, it just removes the element and if you do remove all, then it will remove all the elements that are found in the collection that you are passing as a parameter. If not found, then just ignore. Okay, let's see what is retain all. Since we have seen that retain all is actually used, but what does it do? Well, retain all does the opposite of remove all. Instead of removing all the elements found in a parameter collection, it keeps all the elements that we have passed in a parameter collection and removes all other. Okay. Keep in mind that only if the elements were already contained in target collection, they are retained. Okay. Any new element found in a parameter collection which are not in a target collection are not automatically added. So if it is already present, then only it will be retained. Okay, otherwise they are just ignored. Okay. So this was about add, remove, add all, remove all, and retain all. Fine. Now let's see checking if a collection contains a certain element. So there's a method which will tell you how you can see if this collection contains this particular element. Where these methods are contains and contains all. Okay, so they are illustrated here. You can see we are having a collection. We have declared a collection as new hash set. And then we are checking on collection whether collection dot contains and we have just passed a string which is an element. If it will contain that string, then it will give us a boolean value that is true. Otherwise, it will give us false. Similarly, we have declared a new collection which is element. Okay, so you see in the collection that we have created firstly, we are calling contains all and passing elements. So this will check for all the elements that we are passing whether all of them are present in this collection. If they are, then it will return as true. Fine. The contains return true if the collection contains the element and false if not. Similarly, contains all return true if the collection contains all the element in the parameter collection and false if not. Well, to check the size, we are having a size method. By size is meant that number of elements in a collection. Here is an example. You can call collection.size. So collection is an object of the collections that you have created. And you are calling size on that, which will return you the number of elements this collection is having. So I hope so you have enjoyed this tutorial and let's meet in the next tutorial where we'll be starting with the list interface and we'll be covering the detail of that. Okay guys. So thank you very much. Let's meet in next tutorial. Thanks.